With a 20-year inventory low here in Calgary, what are the summer months going to bring? And we did just see the Bank of Canada raise interest rates again. So, I mean, are we going to see another rise come in July? And is that going to slow buyers down here in Calgary? With Alberta being projected to be the same size or possibly even bigger than our neighbors, British Columbia, in population size by early 2040s, are we going to have enough homes to satisfy all of these people that are moving here? I mean, we're going to potentially see a 44% increase between now and early 2040s. And if you have a condo, you have to stick around to see the statistics for condos here in Calgary this month, because we hit a pretty big milestone. So the market data is in. We got the numbers. We've compiled our information, and we have some great stats to show you today. Now, on with the good stuff. If you want this month's market update, we have a monthly market update. We put all of the stats that you're going to see online and a ton more with a lot of commentary in there that it's going to help you understand what's going on in the market. So head over there. But first, I got a question for you. Have you experienced challenges in multiple offers and bidding wars here in Calgary? Share your stories and frustrations in the comments. We want to hear from you, and go right below the like button into the comment section and tell your story. What are you finding in the market? What are you seeing in the market? What is happening in the market? Let's have a conversation with us, with me, and with each other who are watching this channel, and let's see if we can help each other out. Because I know you are not alone in some of the frustrations that you might be feeling in this market. But the first thing we want to talk about is interest rates. Bank of Canada did raise their interest rates last month. So 3 weeks ago, we did this poll on our channel on YouTube here, and 52% of you said, that's not going to stop me from moving forward. 30% of you said, I'm not totally sure at the moment. 10% of you said, yep, that kind of puts things on pause. And only 8% of you said, I'm out. I thought that was very interesting. There's 151 votes that got put on this. Are we going to see another increase into July from the Bank of Canada? Well, this is very, very interesting. The median Canadian still thinks, from a recent poll, that inflation is above 7%. Is that true? Not at all. Look at this. Inflation has actually broken down below 4%. So the Bank of Canada is kind of in a funny situation. They're in a little bit of a pickle, some could say, and they need to figure out what they're going to do. Because if they want to get down to that 2% inflation rate that's kind of healthier for the whole country and the economy, and people are thinking, the median number of people are thinking that interest rates, or not interest rates, but the inflation is sitting at 7% still, why not raise interest rates more? Because then they can actually push it down. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. We really could end up seeing interest rates jumping up a little bit again, and we'll see what happens. But like it showed in the stats that you guys polled, a lot of you are not deterred by interest rates rising. And a lot of that has to do with equity that's sitting in homes, because it's not the big driving factor. Even for first-time buyers right now, first-time buyers are actually not overly concerned about interest rates either. And when we've had conversations with mortgage brokers that we work with closely, a lot of first-time buyers are like, well, that's what it is. That's okay. Let's just go for it. And so it's an interesting market, because I don't think interest rates are going to slow down our market like maybe the general population believes, because it's just not going to change things, because that's not the driving factor. The problem that we have, the driving factor that we have, is low inventory and a lot of people still wanting to buy and move to Calgary. So when you get kind of perspective on what's happening in the market and what's happening across the country, Calgary is still a very affordable area from looking across the country. And with that, we have a lot of population that is projected to move to Alberta, and a lot of them to Calgary over the next 2 decades. I mean, if you look at these numbers, right here is Alberta's. That's roughly, it's like over 40% of an increase that we're going to see between now and 2043, where British Columbia in 2043, I mean, we're going to have potentially the same size of population as BC, which has one of the largest cities in the country, Vancouver, in it, right? And so what is that going to do to our country, or our province? What is that going to do to our city? Are people going to start moving out of the Calgarys and the Edmontons and into smaller towns? Is that going to happen? Are we going to start seeing just a lot of growth inside the cities with new housing being built because you have so many people that are moving here? I mean, all these things are really real and are probably going to happen. And it's just good to know what the projections are, because then we can kind of be prepared, right? This is not a bad thing. More population can be a good thing. But when we actually start looking at the market and the number of sales here right now, we still have a lot of sales happening. So much so that we are in the last, since 2013 on the chart here, out of all the numbers here, we have the highest number of sales in the month of June compared over the last 10 years. Like, that's a lot of sales, which is great. The inventory, like, we are right up there for a number of new listings that are coming on the market trying to fill the inventory, right? But here's where the problem lies. They are being eaten up so quickly that our inventory, kind of the baseline inventory, like, you know, like when you're skiing and you got the base of the snow and you got to know what that base is so then you don't hit rocks. Our base, our foundation is really, really low, and rocks are kind of poking up and it's not enjoyable, right? So we have this kind of a market where inventory is just low. Whatever's coming on the market is really getting eaten up when it comes on the market. And that's kind of what's happening. And when that happens, this is when we continue to see prices going up, which we did. We saw prices go up. The benchmark price jumped, I think it was about $565,000, just shy of that right now. And so 2 months ago, we broke the 550 mark. It was kind of mid 550s, high 550s, I think 557 or 58. And now we're at 565. So if this continues, which it most likely will, we're probably going to continue to see prices going up. But you can see right here with the blue lines for inventory, the red line for the sales, they're at the same point. And this was happening last month too. And so by seeing that, again, properties are just getting eaten up. If you are planning on trying to actually sell your property right now and you're thinking of making that move, please do not skip the simple things. Make sure you're working with an agent. You can reach out to us and our team to help you do that, but you have to do the right things. Because if you do the right things for your property and your style of home in your neighborhood, in the quadrant that you're in, then you are going to see the best results possible. You can't just throw it on the market and it's going to sell, because remember, we still have a baseline of inventory, and that baseline of inventory, most likely, and a lot of it, is kind of just stuff that nobody really wants to buy. So you can't be one of those stagnant properties that are sitting there. Because there are properties that are sitting there, especially if they're overpriced for the area. There's a lot of things that can happen with that. But I want to ask you this. What are your thoughts on the current supply and demand dynamics that are happening in Calgary right now? So how do you think it will affect future housing prices? Throw it in the comments, hit the like button as you're flying by down to give us your thoughts. But the thing is the dynamics that are happening in Calgary are really different than they have been over the past, not only just a couple of years, but like decades, right? Now, months of inventory. So, I mean, let's be honest. If this didn't tick up a little bit, I mean, we were just getting worse and worse and better for sellers, I guess, in some ways. But further down into the months of inventory. So anything down here is a seller's market, this is a balanced market, and this is a buyer's market. So we did see the months jump up just slightly, like it barely even moved, but we're seeing it a little bit changed, but it still is such a strong market in the city for sellers. And again, this is a really telltale of what is happening. The red line is your 7-day moving months of inventory. The blue line is your 30-day moving months of inventory. And this one back here, I believe, is our 90-day. And so you can just get a sense of it's showing us that we should be staying under 1 month of inventory for a while. All right, so now we're getting into the good stuff. This is Calgary Detached. The blue bars are basically all of your inventory. The green line is the benchmark price, and the red line and kind of the fill on the bottom there is the number of sales. So for a long time, we have seen a lot of inventory on the market with a lower number of sales. Now, for detached homes, whatever's coming on the market is selling right now for the most part. And what that does is that pushes up prices. We peaked out in 2022 right in this area here, and we blew past that earlier this year. And we're continuing to see an upward trend in the median or the benchmark price in Calgary. Well, median will go up too. And if you look at semi-detached, so the thing that's interesting about semis is there was a lot of inventory sitting on the market in 2018, 2019. Semi-detached homes are the type of homes that are kind of built, they're attached together. They're not, no condo fees, they're just attached, right? So it could be duplexes, infills, things like that. And they are getting eaten up as well. There's a lot less of them compared to detached homes, but you can still see their pricing over this year has been climbing consistently. Now, townhouses. We talked a lot about townhouses if you've watched our videos for a while now. Last year, we talked about townhouses and how they're going to become the go-to type of property for buyers who are getting priced out of detached homes. And that's what's happened. Look at this. That red space is above the inventory level. And what that shows you is there is way more properties that are selling than coming on the market. So it's eating up old inventory for townhouses right now, and it is just continuing to go. We have really seen a strong push for the benchmark price in townhomes, row homes here in Calgary, and we're going to continue to see that. As prices continue to rise on detached homes, and especially the starter homes, people who are hoping to buy into those properties are going to have to adjust what they're looking for and come down into the townhome property. And those who were looking at townhomes were getting priced out of townhomes because this is about to break the 400,000 mark. They are going to have to start looking at apartments and condos. Now, this here, the very beginning, I said condos are the big story, a big breakthrough. 2014, Calgary never broke past the $300,000 mark for a benchmark price for a condo. Well, I'm here to say that this month in Calgary, we broke past that $300,000 benchmark price. And that is huge. And the reason being is because if we are breaking through this range right here, the $300,000 price range, that means there's a lot of momentum in the condo market. We have been telling a lot of our own past clients who have condos who have been kind of considering selling or not to say, hey, you know what? If you have a lease ending at some point this year and you're not wanting to keep it anymore, this could be a fantastic year for you to consider actually offloading your condo. Because as you can see, the highest number of sales over the last 10 years here was actually back in 2014, 2015. And that's when a lot of people did purchase a condo. And now the number of sales that are happening now is way more than it was back then, which is finally pushing prices up and just ultimately the number of sales. So last month we had a fairly high number of sales happen for condos, and actually it was a record-breaking month. Now I want to share this with you. This is actually the spreadsheet that we use for all of our tracking. So I mean, we got all the charts in here, everything. But what I want to actually show you is the apartment stats right here. 858 sales happened last month, in May, and in June, there was 857 sales. Now, I remember saying in the last video that the next month we could end up seeing hopefully or potentially the same amount of sales or more, and we were one sale off for all apartments in Calgary for record numbers of sales that are happening. So, buying compared to renting, this in the video is not about the comparison of what's happening. What I do want to show you is how renters now are starting to have the mindset, and those of you watching who are considering buying your first property, who have been renting for a while, or maybe you sold something and you're renting and you're wanting to get back into it, this is kind of what's happening, and kind of gives a little bit of a definition to the feeling that you're feeling. Because a lot of renters right now are afraid. They're afraid that the rent is going to go up. They're going to just kind of get priced out. They're not going to be able to afford it anymore. And they're kind of like, well, I'm kind of behind the 8 ball in buying. Well, what's happening back in here, what was this, 2008, 2010. So you got the dates down on the bottom here. During that time, the actual cost of ownership, and this is for a 2-bedroom condo is just the example, but the ownership cost was a lot more than what the rental payment was to rent something similar. And as we kind of went throughout the years into the 2018, it started to get really, really close. Rents were increasing a little bit, the cost was coming down, but then we walked into the last number of years and it flipped, right? Renting got a lot more expensive than ownership. Why was that? Well, it's because we had our record low interest rates, 1 point, whatever, all of that crazy stuff, and we don't have that anymore. But what is happening as prices increase right in this area, we're going to see that potentially switch again. And more renters are going to want to get back into the market if they have the ability to do so, because all of a sudden, if their rent goes from, we've heard some crazy stories from like $1,800 a month to $3,300 a month, like that, right? You get a notice, in the next 90 days, your rent's going up, choose what you want to do. We've heard some big numbers, and those people are the ones that are coming to us and going, hey guys, like I don't want to pay this much for this property. I have something saved up, so I actually want to go and buy something, and that is going to be way better for me. And so on top of all of the people who are buying properties from out of province, people who are moving inside the city who have a home, we now have renters that are going to be stacked on top of that who are wanting to get into the market for their first property. And where are they going to go? They're going to be going here to the apartments. So this is another reason why we are going to start seeing apartments and continuing to seeing townhomes like this flourish and just thrive in our city. And remember, head over to the report that we have down in the description, where you're going to have all the information, all the stats, way more market information. We actually break out Airdrie, Cochrane, Okotoks, all those areas as well in the market report. So go download that. And hey, if you like these types of videos, you like this market, please give this thing a like, make a comment, even subscribe if you're new to our channel. But also head over here where you can watch more data, what's happening in the market compared to last month versus what you just saw this month.